It started as a joke. Friday nights at the Red Oak pub were a tradition. Cheap beer, greasy chips, and just enough bad karaoke to make us howl with laughter. By the time the fifth round came, we were all feeling bold, that warm haze of alcohol dissolving inhibitions. It was Mia who brought it up. She leaned in over the sticky pub table, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "Bet you won't do it," she taunted, a sly grin curling her lips. "Do what?" I asked, already regretting the question. "Bloody Mary," she said, her voice low and dramatic. The others burst out laughing and I rolled my eyes. "What are we, 12? "Come on, Sam," Matt slurred, slapping my shoulder. "Prove you're not chicken." I sighed, but the thrill of their goading was impossible to resist. Stupid dares and one too many pints. That's how it always started, right? The pub bathroom was a dingy little space. The mirror above the sink cracked in one corner, reflecting the flickering fluorescent light. I stumbled in, my footsteps echoing against the grimy tiles. "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary," I chanted, trying not to laugh at my own absurdity. Nothing happened. I smirked at my reflection, shaking my head. "See? Told you guys." The light flickered, but I hardly noticed it. By the time I returned to the table, the dare was forgotten, buried under more rounds and terrible singing. I thought that was the end of it. That night, I stumbled into bed still humming a tune from the jukebox. My tiny apartment felt comforting in its familiarity, the shadows soft and unthreatening. I didn't bother turning on the lights, too tired to care. But as I sat on the edge of my bed pulling off my shoes, I caught a flicker of movement in the mirror on the wardrobe door across the room. At first, I thought it was my reflection, but it wasn't. The figure was a woman, her face obscured by long, matted black hair that clung to her skin like it was wet. Her eyes were pits of inky darkness, and her mouth was a twisted gash of red that stretched far too wide. I froze, my breath hitching. She wasn't in the room with me, she was in the mirror. "Sam." Her voice was a raspy whisper, the syllable drawn out like nails on a chalkboard. I scrambled backward, nearly falling off the bed, my heart slamming against my ribs. When I looked back, the mirror was empty. I told myself it was a trick of the alcohol, my imagination running wild. But the unease didn't fade. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt her presence. At 3:14 a.m., I woke to the sound of water dripping. The bathroom faucet was off. So was the kitchen sink. But the sound continued, louder, more insistent. I followed it, my pulse pounding in my ears until I realized it was coming from inside the mirror. The drip became a trickle, then a flood, as water pooled on the floor beneath the wardrobe. The reflection in the mirror rippled like a disturbed pond, and she emerged. This time, she didn't stay in the glass. Her skeletal hand, mottled with decayed flesh, broke through first, followed by her head, her lips parting to reveal jagged teeth. I screamed, scrambling toward the door, but it slammed shut on its own, trapping me inside. The room grew colder, the walls closing in as the lights flickered and died. Her laughter filled the darkness, evil and mocking. When I woke, it was to the sound of my phone ringing. Daylight streamed through the blinds and the room was empty save for me and the overturned chair I had knocked over in my panic. I tried to convince myself it had been a nightmare, but then I saw the water stains on the carpet and the long, bloody scratch marks raked across the wardrobe door. The following nights were worse. She didn't appear at first. Instead, she let her presence be known in smaller, crueler ways. Shadows shifted in places they shouldn't. My reflection lagged a second too long behind my movements. The sound of dripping water became constant, echoing through the apartment no matter where I went. Then she started leaving messages. The first one was written in the condensation on my bathroom mirror. "I see you." The second was carved into my bedroom wall, deep and jagged. "Say it again." I couldn't take it anymore. I barricaded the mirrors, covering every reflective surface with towels and sheets. But at night, I could still hear her, her voice a low chant repeating my name over and over like a curse. I haven't slept in days. I'm writing this now because I think she's finally coming for me. The mirrors I covered are uncovered again, the sheets torn to shreds. Her face appears in every surface, my phone screen, the window, even the sheen of water in the sink. I don't know what she wants, But I know one thing. If you value your life, never say her name.